Today we're going to be reacting to a video about American police versus Canadian police. What's the big difference?
I mean, they're right next to each other. They gotta be the same, right?
I
We'll
don't know about
see.
that. All I know is the US police have like an insanely high like murder rate compared to other police forces around the world, and the US loves to lock people up, like insane numbers.
Specifically against one group of people, too.
Yeah, and it just so happens that one demographic of people are 4 times likely to be arrested for the same crimes committed by white people.
Yeah, very interesting. I wonder if that happens over in
I
Canada.
don't know.
Oh.
Let's check this video out. Here we go.
Over by a police officer in Canada or the United States. Full disclosure, I've been pulled over in the United States as a police officer, but I've also pulled people over from the United States
Double
in
perspective.
Canada. The
That's what everybody wanna
experiences were
hear.
very different than what I was used to. I'm going to share those experiences, but also I'm going to share a very interesting story.
Well, well, well. What do we got here?
Okay, I can only speak for myself here, okay?
We said this guy looks like he's a mobster, and that was the most mobster cop thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, with a slight like Canadian twang on it with his accent.
What are you doing about over
What do we got here?
That was my best Canadian accent,
Yeah,
by the
good
way.
job.
About.
Okay, I can only speak for myself here, okay? My experiences will be different than your experiences. Every vehicle stop is different because the circumstances of the vehicle stop are unique. Maybe you've heard the term routine traffic stop. You hear about that in the media and such. There's no such thing as a routine traffic stop because every vehicle stop is different. Different set of circumstances, different officer, different vehicle occupants, different driver. So why am I even asking this? What's the difference? Who cares? A police officer is a police officer. It's because of the replies, the responses to my posts across all social media platforms. A common theme is that police officers in Canada are much more polite. However, our rules of the road for driving are much more strict and our fines are a lot higher. Talking about monetary fines are a lot
Interesting. So the actual like legal punishments are more extreme, but the cops aren't super angry and actually friendly. There's a lot of cops that are just like inherently aggressive in the U.S. for like no reason. I've seen, I mean, I've talked to a lot of friendly cops in the U.S. too, but there seems to, you always see videos of ones that are like just aggressive right away.
Yeah, you see those videos all the time, and like you wonder like how, if you see those videos of this person, how many other people that person has affected if they finally are on video now.
And especially people not in, I mean, the Midwest suburbs like we are, white people in the Midwest suburbs. How different does it get for other ethnicities in more urban areas, especially?
At the same time, police officers from the United States are apparently much more aggressive in their approach overall. However, their laws are much more lax in terms of distracted driving, fines, speeding, and such. Stunt driving. The fines are less monetarily, but the cops are more aggressive in their approach. Now, I've interacted with police officers from all over North America, the United States, of course, all over the world. I would have to say that most of my interactions and the connections that I've made have been with officers from larger cities or municipalities. Not so much small towns where you would hear of a sheriff and deputy and such. Most of what I know about that is what I see in TV shows and in movies like everybody else. I want to share a story of a vehicle stop that I conducted many years ago. It was in a residential neighborhood during the day. The driver, who was also the registered owner, and the passenger were both from the United States. Anyways, the vehicle was going very slow. As I passed the vehicle, I noticed the windows were extremely dark. They were tinted to the max. I couldn't see inside. I did a U-turn, and I noticed that the plates were from Florida. I initiated my rooftop lights. Vehicle pulled to the right. Everything was great. As I approached the vehicle, both the driver's side front window and the passenger side window were down. The driver had one hand on the steering wheel, and he was holding his wallet with his other hand. The passenger had both hands on the dashboard. I had no clue why they were like that. I mean, they were visibly shaken just by the whole interaction, even though they actually didn't do anything wrong. And they were a couple of real nice guys. I had a great conversation. So I asked them, after just a little bit of small talk, what the deal was, and that's basically what they were expected to do in the area of Florida where they were at. And I'll say that after this whole interaction, there was no tickets given out, nothing. They were actually looking for an address. They had the street name right, but the wrong municipality. So basically, they were just lost. And anyways, they let me know that this was the most amazing interaction they've ever had with a police officer their entire lives. And I mean, listen, I guess so. Now, the last time I got...
I mean, yeah, you get those situations. You see it in videos all the time. Where we're from, you won't like necessarily encounter that, especially because we're white too. A lot of times
We fit in with the demographics. I mean, our town, the town that I'm from, is literally like 95%. What I would think.
Yeah, I mean the reason that the cops, you see it a lot of times in videos, especially with the black people who are getting pulled over. If they start to reach for their wallet or something to grab it, the cop will pull the gun and think they're about to pull out a gun on them. And so that's why a lot of times the U.S. ones are super stiff, and you have to like, "Hey, can I reach for my wallet, please?"
And maybe that has to do too with like the cops are also on edge because anybody can have a gun in the United States like super easily. So they're always like, this person could just shoot me as soon as they roll down the window.
It seems like an issue that just at any moment your life could end. So because of a dang gun.
It's almost like having gun laws helps everybody in some regards.
Yeah. I mean, it's so different. We watched video on like Finnish police, and seeing how the Finnish police talk to like the citizens of their country is so interesting. And now hearing this guy saying that those people, that was their best interaction they've ever had with a police officer.
Florida. Dang Florida. I mean, Florida's a crazy place. So I'm sure the police, just how like their government is in Florida too, are extra crazy. But I've never ever done the two hands on the steering wheel thing, so I don't know. It's not an experience we've ever had.
Yeah, and we're like, the times we got pulled over, we're just young guys, young white guys from a Midwestern town from Minnesota.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Pulled over in the States was, I wasn't the driver. I was a passenger in the rear seat. There was a front seat passenger and a driver. Saw the lights. Driver was speeding, got pulled over for speeding. I told him he would, by the way. Anyways, cop pulled us over, license hires, pulled to the right. This officer was completely jacked up, approached the car very slowly, and I was in the back seat, rolled the windows down. He had his hand on his gun the entire time and was looking back, and it was dark at night. He had his flashlight going, just like you would actually see in the movies, a flashlight and everything in the eyes, hand on the gun like he was ready to draw.
So that's not a thing that happens in other countries, the flashlight? I've got, the one time I got pulled over at night, it was flashlight in the mirror in my eyes and stuff like that.
I guess you didn't realize, like, you don't realize that he's looking throughout your car when you walk by. He's just like checking your car. Yeah. I mean, it's just a different type of aggression.
In the movies, a flashlight and everything in the eyes, hand on the gun like he was ready to draw. Anyways, and which
Very
of course,
common.
what did that do to us? It elevated my mood almost to where his was. Anyways.
Yeah, so I mean, if you are someone who has a gun and this dude already has his hand on his gun, flashlight pointing everywhere, now all of a sudden you weren't thinking about grabbing the gun before, but maybe you're scared that you're in danger now.
I mean, imagine if you were one of the people that are more common to get shot by a cop. Like statistically, just way more common for them to be shot by cops. And these cops walk up and their hands on their gun, they're already like all shaky. Imagine what situation you're in. You'd be so nervous.
And there are a decent amount of times where like a U.S. cop will like want to arrest someone for something that's not legally right. So like even if you're completely innocent, there's still a chance that something can go against you.
And then as soon as you start acting a little like differently because you're nervous or you don't know what's going on, you're trying to like talk back, suddenly you're acting suspicious by doing that.
Are there drugs in the vehicle?
Why aren't you answering? Why aren't you giving me your ID? The passenger who's not supposed to give IDs. It's very interesting.
It elevated my mood almost to where his was. Anyways, again, I'm not saying that this is where every police vehicle stop is in the States, but this was my experience. This was the last experience that I've had in the States. Long story short, we were let go, speeding. I was a police officer. There was another police officer in the vehicle, and anyways, it was a great interaction. The driver was
Even the cop speed.
anyways, it was just kind of interesting.
It's
to see
universal.
the officer's demeanor, the fact that he started up here, brought me right up here as well. And naturally, it would. You didn't want to make any sudden moves. You didn't want to grab anything, whatever the case is, because you genuinely didn't know what was going to happen. And it's one of those things where, I've told this story a few times, and other people have had somewhat similar interactions, but it always kind of made me think of how I would approach a vehicle and how I did approach a vehicle at a traffic stop and everything else. Anyways, I just wanted to bring this up because I can't believe how many people in the comments say that, thousands of comments, how different police officers are in Canada and the US. Much more approachable in Canada. However, the fines are a lot more expensive for distracted driving and everything else. Police officers in the US, much more aggressive or unapproachable. However, you can get away with a lot more. If you have experiences you'd like to share, please leave a comment.
Very interesting. I mean, it's kind of what we expected to see, that the U.S. are much more aggressive, much more, I don't know, they're much more prone to just violence out of nowhere. I saw a video recently where he did end up taking out his taser and tasing the person, but his first instinct was taking out the gun and pointing it at the person. It was just like some cracked out woman with a knife, but he was very far away. His first instinct was aim gun at her and be like, put it down, put it down, put it down. And then after that, I don't know if he cooled down when he realized she wasn't going to attack him, put down the gun, took out the taser, then taser, and she went down in a second.
Yeah. I mean, even a situation where someone is approaching them, like, it should be last choice to want to have to pull a gun on them.
But that's, a lot of times it's the first choice. It seems like cops in the U.S. are trained to pull out the gun, and I don't know why it's always like 15 shots too.
Yeah,
why
like,
can't they just shoot them once?
Yeah.
Most people go down after one shot, but then they just pop, 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 over and over.
It would be interesting for this guy. I don't know if he has insight from when he talked to other officers to see like what the training entails in like Canada versus the U.S. Like the courses that you have to go through.
Yeah, but let us know other things from Canada that you want us to react to, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.